What's going on, guys? I'm SimpleSimon, and today's video is an interview I did today, which is actually supposed to be part of another video that I've got coming. But after I finished this interview, I just thought to myself, I need to show this interview in its entirety. So before I show the interview, I just want to give you some context and also give a bit of a plug. If you're watching this early, this weekend on the Saturday, ARON'S Collectables, they're opening upstairs and they're opening to the public a massive vintage Batman collection. Everything in there is pre-2000s, and Aaron was kind enough to actually invite me to have a look at it today, a week in advance, while he's still setting up the room. So that's the video I've got coming. I didn't know how I was going to approach the video, so I had all these ideas, and I'm still yet to finish that video because I've got to go there on the weekend to actually film the event. But today I obviously got to have a look around the room. So I'll give you a little bit of footage from that just to give you a bit of a teaser. But I also interviewed Dags, who works at ARON'S, and this Batman collection actually belongs to him. Now, the reason I'm releasing this interview separately is because, again, in the video I'm planning on making, it will be probably an edited down version of this interview, because it was about a 15-minute interview. That's a bit too long. But I wanted people to see this interview in its entirety, because Dags has one of the craziest Batman collections you'll ever see. And when I interviewed Darren, just while I was interviewing him, in my head, I was just like, this is one of the best interviews I've ever done, because it didn't turn out how I expected, but I learned a lot. So again, before I show the interview, ARON'S will be opening up this room and this collection to the public for them to purchase. So if you're a vintage Batman collector, get down there. But yeah, keep an eye out for that video, and hopefully you guys enjoy this interview. Quick shout out to my Siminions. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you're interested in exclusive members only videos, extended episodes of The Noob, and exclusive emojis, hit the join button to find out more about channel membership. But remember, your membership is not required. The best way to support the channel is by liking and commenting on videos.
We're both framed? Yep.
We're both framed. I'm here with Dags, ARON'S Collectables hype man. And he's been waiting his whole life for this moment.
I wouldn't go my whole life, but part of my life, yes, absolutely fantastic.
So this is your collection?
It is. So I started collecting in 1989, and then I stopped in 1997, and then it was all pretty much in storage for a long period of time. So I had it on display in my house for about 17 years, boxed it all up in 2020, and now that it's middle of 2025, out she goes. Done with it.
Wow.
Finished. Gone. Out. Go. Sell. Buy.
So this is like your retirement fund almost.
Well, yeah. So the thing is, when I stopped collecting back in 1997, I just didn't really have a lot of passion for it all. I actually created a website for the collection back in about the early 2000s, where I was actually very, very critical about a lot of things that I purchased, because back then I was very obsessive. I was actually buying anything I could find with a Batman logo, even things I didn't like. And for that reason, I ended up with a lot of stuff that I never really appreciated. And it was for that I actually had the documentary made, Batman and Me, which of course features myself discussing my whole history of collecting.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Not just why I started, but why I stopped as well, and the reasons behind what I was doing. Because usually with a lot of people who collect, they love everything that they do and they really enjoy it and they get a lot out of it. I was the complete opposite. I actually didn't enjoy it at all. I enjoyed the time, but when I'd finished, I just felt like I was lumped with all this stuff that I couldn't get rid of.
It's like a burden.
And it was a dead weight actually. So it's taken a long time, but we're at that point now where I'm sort of ready to let it all go.
Yeah, because I was looking around and I was seeing some stuff. I was like, why did they even make this?
Well,
there's some stuff in here, and I'm like, I just can't believe some of the stuff I'm seeing in here.
Well, the thing is that I was such an obsessive collector, I would buy anything that I could afford with a Batman logo. And the joke used to be, if they had put a Batman logo on a block of wood, I still would have purchased it, because I couldn't control myself. Now, I was part of a large group of all these other collectors, and it was almost like there was a mindset to say, it's more about quantity rather than quality. Because whenever I caught up with people, they'd all be saying, what have you got now? What's new? And so it was important for the collection to get bigger and bigger.
It became part of your personality, I guess.
It did. And when I did the audit of the entire collection in 2020, when it was all getting boxed up, I didn't realise I had 1,300 items. And that's only in like an 8-year period of collecting. So it was really kind of insane. But I did actually purchase things that I didn't like. And that was something that was part of the mindset of saying, well, it's all about getting the most I possibly could rather than caring about what looked good and what would actually be worth something in the future.
I think that we all kind of go through that as collectors. Like, I buy a lot of comic book covers that are like for example, pop vinyls is a perfect example. A lot of us have gone through pop vinyl phases, and a lot of us now have grown out of it. I no longer care for pop vinyls. There's still sometimes I see one where I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, but I've gotten to a point now where I know I don't need that. I'd rather spend that money on something that I actually really like. So how's your collecting changed over all these years then?
Well, the funny thing is, when I stopped in 1997, that was it. I stopped completely.
Really?
And it actually did, and it's kind of funny because I've had to discuss this in interviews. It actually caused me psychological damage because now I assess everything that I buy in real life all the time, wants versus needs. So when I was collecting, I didn't need any of it. I just wanted it, and as a result I would just purchase things. And of course, once I stopped collecting, I got to reassess my entire existence, as it were, and how I operated. And I think the lasting effect is now whenever I see something that I go, do I want it? Yes. Do I need it? No. And as a result, I usually don't buy a lot of stuff. So it had the complete opposite effect between just buying for the sake of making the collection look good versus saying, okay, I don't actually need these items, so I'll just stop now. So
it's funny. That's the first thing my partner asks me every time I'm like, oh, I want to get this. She always says, do you need it? And my answer is usually, I don't really need any of it.
Yeah.
but
well, the funny thing was, one time I got to see a collector in the because I collected in the 1990s, obviously, and he had a lot of really cool, rare stuff. And I had a look at it all, and he was asking top dollar, right? $200 for this, $500 for that, and whatever else. So I bought, so many items, about 5 or 6 items, and it cost me like nearly $800. And of course, I go home, and my other half says to me, she says, is that what you got for all that money? And I thought, well, yeah, that's a very, very good point, because it was a lot of financial outlay for effectively very little return. So there was a lot of times where it was out of control. And that's the reason why whenever I just saw the logo, I thought, well, I'll buy it because I'm a collector. That's what I do, and that's what the documentary covers off. But in retrospect, yeah, there was a lot of things that I picked up and go, what? I agree with you. Why'd they even make that? Because they obviously felt that put a Batman logo on something, it would sell. And as it turned out, it did.
And would you buy bootleg stuff as well? Like,
yes.
Was that something that bothered you? You didn't care? It was just like, it's on there?
I didn't care.
Cheap.
Yeah, no, I've got some bootleg items, and some of them were actually quite amusing and quite funny. But yeah, it was something I could not control. And I was always in the zone, because this is before eBay existed, and barely the internet had even come into play at
so
that
how
point.
did that? How did you go?
It was all shop to shop. Everything I got primarily was all just hunting through the stores. And where it got out of control is where you would say, look, I've got like $50 in my wallet. Okay, I'm going to go to the movies, have some lunch, whatever else. Oh, there's a collectible there for $60. I've got to find $10 from somewhere else. I'll buy that instead, and the rest of the day is completely written off. So that sort of thing happened a lot. And also the scenario of saying, well, I need a new pair of shoes for $40. Oh, I found this collectible for $80. I'll buy that instead.
Don't worry about
and
the
that was
shoes.
the problem I had. And now I know a lot of people have that issue today.
Yeah.
But for me, it was really out of control. So yeah, so when I stopped collecting, I was actually kind of glad, because it was actually getting to a point where it was just like I couldn't rein it in. And it was actually Batman and Robin, the movie that came out in 1997. That's the reason why I stopped.
Because of the movie? You didn't like the movie?
Hated it. And I couldn't buy merchandise for a film I didn't like. I do have some, but for the most part, I actually, no, it didn't work for me at all. And I'm kind of glad, because that actually made me stop. This is obviously before the Christian Bale movies came out, before the eBay thing.
Did that tempt you?
No. The only thing I got tempted by is that
I've been clean for years.
No, in the mid-2000s, they actually produced a Batman television set with a Batman like radio and DVD player and whatever else. And I thought, that is awesome. That is really, really cool. But I said, no, I can't do it. And even as of today, like right now, I still won't go to the Batman section of eBay. Right? I don't want to be tempted by any item that I haven't seen from the '89 or Batman Returns films that would potentially push my buttons. So
it's really like an addiction, isn't it?
It was. Wow. So when the documentary was made,
just quickly, is there somewhere people can find this documentary?
Yeah, the documentary is actually on SBS On Demand. So if you just go to in documentaries, type in Batman, it'll be the first thing that pops up. So yeah, it's the whole history. It actually shows how the collection was on display and the whole mindset between starting and actually finishing as well. So it was a good journey. Look, I had a lot of fun. I made a lot of friends. Because I was the only Batman collector in the entire community of all my buddies, Christmases, birthdays, a lot of girlfriends, mate, they loaded me with stuff. I was the easiest guy in the world to buy for, and I was really wrapped for that. But in the end, the problem was I was taken in by the '89 film and the imagery of that, but I wasn't really a hardcore Batman fan. Like, I didn't read the comics, I didn't know all the mythology from back to 1939.
Yeah, wow.
I was just hooked in by the movie and the iconography. And that was it, and I was off and running after that. Even though at the time, and the film covers this off, I didn't want to do it because I knew it would just get out of control and I wouldn't be able to like maintain some kind of like semblance of what am I doing. I just go nuts. And once I was all in, that was it, all over.
I'm like that too, because there's a lot of characters that I like, that I collect, but I don't know a lot about them. It's more like I think they look cool. I don't read any Marvel, really. But there's a lot of Marvel characters I think they look super cool, and I just collect their stuff. But I haven't gone and taken the time to go read their entire history.
Yeah.
I might watch a video or two, and I might have read one or two things, but yeah, there's a lot of, I understand the addiction. I don't think I've taken it as to your level, because even the way you're talking about it, I can tell it was like a real serious addiction problem.
I couldn't switch it off. And it's worth remembering, a lot of people forget this, that when Batman came out in 1989, it was the first time we saw Batman in the whole black outfit, right? It had never been done in live action before, right? Prior to that, the only on-screen Batman prior to that was the 66 TV series. And being a big fan of Darth Vader from Star Wars and Count Dracula and whatever else, when Batman appeared in the 89 movie wearing all the black and everything, it's like, that is the coolest thing in the entire universe.
That's exactly what I said.
Right? And a lot of people wouldn't realise that now because, you know, it's been done so many times since then. But yeah, that was like, oh my God. And what triggered the whole thing off for me is there's a photograph from a magazine which is shown from the museum in the movie, the 89 movie, and there's Batman walking down the stairs, and it's a very blurry and black and white photo. But that was like, that is the coolest thing in the universe. And after that, it was like the point of no return. I said, yep, I've got to be a Batman collector now. So as I said, I was taken in by the imagery and the iconography, not the history of the character or the mythology and all the bad guys. So I only ever focused on Batman. I never bought any of the villains. I didn't get any of the other characters like Robin, Batgirl. Nah, it was just him and nobody else. That was what my collection focused on. Because as I discussed with someone recently, if you look at a lot of Batman collections now, even really big ones, and I look around and go, oh, there's the Joker and the Penguin and the Riddler. If you take all those characters out, the whole collection shrinks by about 40%, where I didn't even do that. I just had it all Batman and nothing else. So in the end, I did quite well out of it. So,
did you collect comic books at all?
No, I didn't.
I was going to say, because you're lucky, because DC have, at any one time, they've got 5 different Batman titles and things like that. So you've been in trouble.
It was worse than that. In the 1990s, there was 8. No, I just focused on the merchandising. And you are right, there were some items that I came across that I thought, oh, that is awesome. I really love that. That is fantastic. And the thing was, and this is actually quite current today, you find an item and you go, if I don't buy this now, I will never see it ever again. And I know for a fact that I've got items in my collection I have never seen outside of what I've owned. So it's not like, oh, I'll see it in 15 different stores. In a lot of occasions, it was just like, here it is, it's the one-off, I'll get it now, and I've never seen it since. And as we go through all the collection now, and Aaron's seeing a lot of it, even he's finding things that he didn't realise existed. And that's what's actually really cool about it.
I was thinking before, you're such an energetic person. I was like, maybe it's because he's got this cool Batman collection, or maybe he knows that it's time for it to let go of it.
No, well, it could be. It was a great part of my life. I really did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. I met a lot of people, had an awesome time, but I got lumped with a lot of stuff that ultimately I didn't really want, and it took up a lot of space in my house, even in storage boxes. And I've been toying with it, the idea of selling it for a while. Even in the documentary, I actually bring it up, and that was actually filmed like 10 years ago. So it's good to finally reach this point. It's now finding its life. The advice I would give to anybody who's interested in selling their items is you must not have any doubts about what you're doing. You've got to be completely cool with it. So as all this stuff's on display right now, I've got no doubts, no regrets, no second thoughts. I'm happy for it to go to other people to hopefully live on in someone else's collection. So that's the best advice I can give to anybody who's thinking about selling up. If you have any doubts, don't do it.
I think sometimes it does make you happy to see you move it on to someone who's really going to enjoy it too, right? There's satisfaction in that.
Well, I'm hoping that whoever buys what I owned, and of course remembering I never took anything out of its packet, right? I'm one of those, I'm a box collector, right? Yeah. Everything is still mint in box.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And I'm hoping whoever buys it keeps it that way, right? There are some items I think would be criminal to take out of their packaging. It was part of my forte, so yeah, look at that.
Unpunched.
Oh yeah, I love the unpunched ones. Yeah, there's a funny story about unpunched figures, but yeah, it's good. It's really, really good stuff. So there you go.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Dags. Again, Batman and Me, was it called?
Yes.
Batman and Me. Check it out. I'm literally going to watch that tonight, I think.
Yeah,
That's
SBS on demand, so there you go.
Appreciate your time, man.
Mate, absolutely fantastic. And it's good to see he finally got up the stairs after trying to get to the damn door. So.
Thanks, mate.
No worries, dude.
All right, so that was my interview. It was a completely different interview than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be asking him about his love for Batman and things, and it really just turned into something else, which is why I really want this interview to be in its, mostly of its entirety for people to see. Again, it's this weekend. If you're watching this early, they're going to be doing the unveiling of that room for people to come and buy things, and I will be there to finish that video. I will include some of this interview in that video, but again, probably a shortened version. Big shout out to Dags for giving me the time to do that. Definitely check out his documentary, Batman and Me. I literally just watched it. I made dinner, I put it on, and I just watched it all the way to the end. He's got some really crazy stories, and he's just a real funny guy. Even if you meet Dags, he's very intense. But yeah, just a fun, great dude. Aaron, big shout out to you, mate. If you're watching this, really appreciate the invite to give me that opportunity to be able to go today and see this whole thing before Dags. Aaron got Dags to let me up into the Batman room before Dags even got to see it. So yeah, big shout out to you, mate. I really appreciate that offer. And again, if you can't make it on the weekend to see the Batman collection, I'm sure they'll probably have it there for the next few weekends. There's a lot of stuff in there. There's a few things that I definitely want in there, but if you don't get to go there, keep an eye out for that video because that will be coming in the coming weeks as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video, and again, do check out the documentary Batman and Me. For Australians, it's available on SBS On Demand. For overseas people, you might need to look it up somewhere on the interwebs. I'll try to have some information for that in the description below as well. Give this video a like, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And until next time, I'm Simple Simon. Tell your friends and keep it simple.
Now, I don't know about you, but when I look at the dictionary for the word pathetic, Simple Simon's picture comes up. There you go, sir.
Thank you. I'm gonna die, I swear. Thanks, mate. All right. Yeah, cool. Aaron's not far off though. Excellent. All right, boys and girls. This is the VIP. Oh, look at that. That's cool. They've even got the Batcave sign up there. So I was right. Oh, wow. Is this... Oh, wow, this is a real surprise. Okay.